Alright, yo guys, Drishal MAC2 here, and today I am back in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and here you are looking at the beautiful fly-by-wire A320. So if you want to see a video on how to install that, it'll be in the top right. But today I am showing you how to program the MCDU on this aircraft for a full flight. Alright guys, before we start the video, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. We've been gaining quite a few more subscribers recently, which is great. Some more views, which is great. So it's going really well, and I really appreciate it, guys. So thank you very much. Let's jump up into the flight deck here. Here we are. It started from a cold and dark procedure. So I have got my route, as you can see here, from SimBrief. Now I actually use this, which is Sim Toolkit Pro. Now this links to Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane or FSX, I think, maybe P3D, I'm not entirely sure on them, but I know it works with X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Sim, and it connects to your SimBrief account. And you can do all your kind of flight planning through here, and it presents it to you in a nice format like here. You have your OFP here, you know, waypoints here, and it's really very nice. So you can just use regular SimBrief if you want, just through the browser, or you can use Sim Toolkit Pro. I do have a video on this from about 8 or 9 months ago, so I'll put that in the top right as a card and also in the description below. So we can see what I'm going to do is click always on top and make this as small as I can. There we go. So here we have our route. So first things first, let's go to our MCDU. Now I'm only going to be showing you like a basic way, just so you can get from basically point A to point B safely and somewhat realistically. So click on FMGC in it. So now we can perform our initial setup. So this is company route. So a company might have like a code, and you can put the company route in, and it sorts like the route for you, because it's a route that they fly often. But we can't really use that in the sim at the moment, I don't believe. You might be able to save some, I'm not sure. But anyway, so we have our from/to. So this is the departure airport, and this is our arrival airport. So let's just set this up here. Let's bring Sim Toolkit Pro back and put that there. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are departing from EHAM, which is Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, and we are going to be arriving at Heathrow, EGLL. So let's plug that in here. So EHAM, then we can put a slash there, and now we can put EGLL, Echo Golf Lima, and click this button here. Give it a second, and that is in there. So we can now click return, and there we are. Okay. So on our on our navigation display, we can see a line just from EHAM. Now we're going straight to Heathrow, but obviously we're not going to fly directly. So next thing, cost index. You can find that on your OFP right here. So cost index is 5. This doesn't really matter too much. It's not going to change your route much. Now we have cruise flight level. So what you can do on Sim Toolkit Pro, you can go to load here, and it will show you your cruise altitude. So as you can see here, it's going to be 240 plus flight level 240, which is 24,000 feet. Okay, so it's not a long flight, therefore we're not going to be going up to 40,000 feet or anything. So we can click 240, plug that in, it'll put the temperature in automatically for us, and there we are. We have now set our cruise altitude. So we are done on this page. We can now go to flight plan. This is where we're going to plug all of this stuff in. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is we have something called SIDs and something called STARS. Now, a SID stands for Standard Instrument Departure, and STAR is Standard Arrival. I'm not sure what that R is. Anyway, a SID you'll be using to depart, and a STAR you'll be using to arrive. Okay, so it's basically just, they're both just basically pre-planned kind of a load of different waypoints to exit the airport from takeoff or arriving into the airport safely. So there might be that you have to avoid another airport on when you're on final for the runway, or maybe it's just a slightly strange approach. For example, Madeira LPMA, you can't come in like parallel to the runway. You have to come in at an angle, do a last minute turn and land. Okay, so this here, my second monitor just crashed, lovely. Here we have as you can see, VALK1G, that is our SID, and here we have LAM3A, which is our STAR. Now sometimes you won't have a SID or a STAR, it just depends. Okay, now as you can see here, we have a waypoint, another waypoint, then an airway, and a waypoint. So a waypoint is basically from point A to point B, you're going to fly through that waypoint. Now an airway is basically that you have, it's like little kind of highways or motorways in the sky. So it's like basically like, okay, I'm on the M1, which is our airway, but I want to get on at junction 4 and leave at junction 21. So those two are our waypoints, and from then you'll go on to say a different A road or a different motorway, and that'll be your new airway, kind of like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is click on EHAM here, departure. We're going to select our runway, which is runway 2 so let's scroll down, and there we are, runway 22. And now we can select our SID, so VALK1G. And as you can see here, this is a common thing. Sometimes it won't be exact, like VALK1G, it'll say VALK2G. There might be a very slight difference, but it really doesn't matter too much. That's just Microsoft Flight Sim, I believe. Okay, so now we have that there. And our transitions, we can go for IDRID. As you can see, we are going to be going to IDRID afterwards, but you don't need to put that in if you don't want to. Okay, so now we have some waypoints ready to put in for us. So now we can see here we have decel, which is deceleration, and EGLL. So we're not going from IDRID straight to Heathrow. We do have some waypoints and airways in between. So we're going to click here on IDRID, go to airways, and now we can put in our next airway, which is L980. So let's put that in, L980. Put that in the left here on the via page. There we are. And we have the 2 here. This is where you put your waypoints. So now we can put Logan. There we are. Now sometimes you can put them in and it'll be fine and it just won't show. That's fine. The aircraft's taken it. So if it doesn't throw up an error message down here, then you're fine. Logan, and then we go to Loga1H. Okay. Not in database. Okay, I believe that's our star then. That's my bad. So we can click insert, and it should be inserted down here, as you can see. So there are some in between, which the aircraft automatically puts in. So now we can go to EGLL, arrival, select our runway, so 27 right. Now I'm going to do an ILS. Now an ILS is an instrument landing system, and it's pretty much the most common way of landing, especially for airliners, since it gives you horizontal and vertical guide essentially. So I will be doing a ILS into 27 right. There we are. And now we can select our star, which is Logo 1H. Where is it? There we go, Logo 2H. It's just a bit different. It's not always like this, just very rarely. Anyway, we can click that. And we don't want any V's. There we are. Insert that. There we are. We have now kind of fully set up our for landing. Now we can check our route. We don't need this anymore. We can check our route by going to plan. And now we can just go through here. So let's go back to the top really quick. Alright, so EHAM, we're taking off down here. Okay. So we're going over here across the channel probably. And then we're going down and we're going back up because that's what the SID says. And that's very weird. It shouldn't be like that. That's just a bug, I believe, in the latest Microsoft Flight Sim update. But again, you can turn off select manage heading mode and go into selected and just fly your own heading. And once you get to about here, you can just click the approach button here and LS here, and the aircraft will fly the approach for you. So anyway, it's looking good. We are getting to Heathrow. So next we can go here to init and init to B, so that's the second page. And now we can put some of our fuel stuff in. So if we go back to Sim Toolkit Pro and go to here load, this is where you have all your fuel stuff. So we're using 5.5 tons of block fuel. Okay, so 5.5. There we are. And let's actually put that into the aircraft here. So you can see down here our fuel. So we'll put about 5.5 in. Difficult to get it right. There we are. And our payload, which is here, is 17.8. So let's see if I can get this right first time. Doesn't really need to be exact. Right, there you go, 17.8. Now we can click here, zero fuel weight, and it will calculate it for us. Click it again, and it'll put it back in. Very nice. Now finally, we can go here to perf. And this is where we set up some of our takeoff stuff. So we can go flaps. We're going to be using flaps 1, which is standard. Flexure temp, we're going to go about 55. Transition altitude here in Amsterdam is 3,000 feet, so we're going to put that in. And V1, VR, V2. So we can click it. It's going to calculate it for us. And there we are. So V1, VR and V2, what are they? These are our speeds that we need on takeoff. Okay, so V1 is 131 knots. So once we get to there, the aircraft has to take off. Okay, no matter what happens, the aircraft must take off, because if we don't and we try and abort the landing, we will basically run off the runway and it will be unsafe too. VR is our rotate speed, so that is when we will pull up and the aircraft will take off at that speed. And V2 is our speed, which lets us know, we're climbing, we're at good speed, and there's nothing, hopefully, seriously wrong with the aircraft. So they are important speeds. And that's it, guys. Now you can sort everything else out in the aircraft and do an engine start. If you want to see how to start all the engines and get to this stage as well, you can go and look at my video. It'll be in the card in the top right. But yeah, I'm going to go and continue this flight. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much.